back on live feed here, live streaming on YouTube here. I'm just drinking my milk here. I went out to look at some of these yard sale things they got along the main street here. I went to this one church up here on the main street. They didn't have any Bibles or anything like that. It used to be an old Presbyterian church, which is now some kind of new life church or some kind of quote non-denominational church, congregation. And I think they have a woman pastor there too. I said, well, let's see. I made a comment about the Presbyterian church with their women pastors. I said, well, we got one too. I said, wow. And they say they follow the word of God. It's like, no, not if you got women pastors. No. Now I rode past my old church too, the Lighthouse Church. It's. I've seen a couple people, but I didn't get no acknowledgement. So, okay. So enough about that there. But just out here, just enjoying my day here. It's pretty warm. It's starting to get hot again. Hopefully not as hot as it was before. We hit that big heat wave. It was like in the 90s and just very humid too, extremely humid. The humidity doesn't seem real high. I mean, it's a little humid, but it's not like it was. I mean, so far. So I did my open air preaching finally, got out to the Catholic Church. I got up early so I could preach to Catholics. They got an 8 a.m. Mass every day, I guess, except yesterday didn't have one. So that's good if I want to preach every day. That's the place to go. And maybe tomorrow I'll go out to Coldwater and preach outside the Catholic Church there. Yeah, that's why I'm out here, to share the gospel. But I'm kind of bored too, I have to admit. If I'm not working, I'm just don't feel, I don't want to just drift around and just, I like to get, my hopes was to get a place to live, a job and a place to live above a storefront there in Coldwater, but I don't think that's going to work out because there's really no apartments above those storefronts there. And there's not as many as I thought either. See, I was going by my memory, which sometimes is not so great. So that may not work out for me in Coldwater like I was hoping. There's jobs there too. But of course, my big obstacle is not having a place to stay if I do start working. So maybe my brother says it takes about 2 or 3 paychecks to have enough money for a rent and deposit, and he's probably right about that. So maybe there still might be hope for me though. I give it a couple more weeks here, maybe. If not, I'm thinking about Fort Wayne, which I was originally going to go. Fort Wayne, Indiana. You got a lot of Lutheran churches out there. A lot of reach the Lutherans too. But of course, I would be in the same predicament there that I'm here. So, but I might be able. There might be more opportunities for me there too. It's just a bigger city. Here's just a small city. Limited things here, but there being larger would maybe be more opportunity, more temp services. If anything, I could probably work through a temp service. Just work. That's what I used to do before I would go to the Philippines. I would actually work through a temp service. See if anyone's watching. Nope, nobody's watching. So it's Friday here. This week really went quick. Yeah, I was watching the moon last night rising. The full moon was really nice, really yellow looking, really big looking, coming up over the horizon. Watching that last night rise from the tent. So that's pretty much what I do right now. Go to the library. But I think tomorrow I'm going to bike out to Coldwater there and preach outside the Catholic Church. Holy Trinity there, right in the center of the village there. At least preach, get some preaching done. And maybe this week I could ride out to the egg farm. It's a little far out. It's in Philothea, which is about almost 3.5 miles outside Coldwater. And if I got working there, I really have no idea where I'm going to stay again. Unless they let me camp on the property At least the days I'm working, the days I'm not working, I could just take the tent down and then just maybe rent a storage unit or something. See if I get working, I can my things will kind of. I can make some real plans. Maybe go back to the wife eventually. Be back with the wife, the family. Might be a good idea. I thought about it too. I thought. I mean, but while I'm here, I want to get the gospel preached. You know, I never did any street preaching in the Philippines. The wife didn't really like walking, and she didn't really want to leave the house. And I didn't really want to go out by myself, being a foreigner, and I didn't want to get in any kind of trouble. They might see I'm protesting or something and try to have me arrested and deported or blacklisted from the country. So I was always a little hesitant about that. But I think if I would go back, I think I would do some street preaching there. There's plenty of lost people in the Philippines, a lot of false religions out there too. So, so I look for old Reuben Molden, but I didn't see him. I think he's got trouble with his car. So I hope he's doing all right. I called my brother a few times since yesterday, and I never reach him. I'm probably calling at the wrong time. He sleeps in late, and then I'm usually gone by the time he would get back home. He don't get home too dark. So I'm just not around at the times that he's available, I think. And I got a couple friends here. I met a friend today here in Celina. He lives right in around the corner here, actually, not far from here. I won't say his address. So he was really thankful to see me outside that Catholic church. He was really thrilled to see me out there preaching to the Catholics. He was so excited that somebody was out there actually preaching to the people there. So that was good. That was the highlight of my day, getting the gospel out. But now I feel kind of like blah, just kind of like, I don't know. I snap out of it. Yeah, maybe this week something will happen. I could go out right out to my egg farm. That's why I kept talking about the egg farm. The egg farm when I was in Maslin. I mean, I could do that job. Stacking eggs, packing eggs, whatever they do there. It'd be a cool environment too. So it has to be refrigerated. So that, especially in this hot weather, it would be probably a very comfortable environment for me because I get hot real quick. Better than working in the hot factory. Well, of course, then that means my one problem is I still won't have nowhere to really stay unless they work out something with me, because since I'm bicycling and I came from a far distance, to work there, maybe they might arrange something for me there. I got a tent. I got a couple tents actually, little backpacking tent. It's small, it's just a little Alps mountaineering they call it an Ibex, which is the same as the Zephyr. And I use that right now because the tent body's totally mesh, so it promotes maximum airflow. So that seems to really work all right for me. Yeah, tomorrow's Saturday already. I can't believe it. Boy, time's really flying. I've been out here for this about 6 weeks, I think. This will be my 6th weekend out here, I think it is. Gee, I got here sometime I think it was around the mid part of July, I think. I can't remember now. It's just been so long. Yeah, go back in this library for a little bit here before they close. Get into air conditioning. We got a nice library here in Celina. Very nice library. Very nice people that work here. In fact, I told the librarian, I was half joking, but not really. I thought about maybe I should get a job at the library. I'm always here. I mean, I don't have no kind of degree or anything, college degree, but perhaps I could like sell books or do something, or I don't know. I should really pursue that maybe. If I got a job at the library, I would fall over. Like, really? I never worked at a library. They got a lot of people work here, a lot of young people. They look like teenagers, honestly. But I think they're like young adults, like early 20s, yeah. So, and here I am, a guy that came in town on a bicycle. But they seem to like me all right. They're very nice to me. They're always helpful. Always, when I was sick, they were concerned about me, like when I had that heat sickness. So I can't say anything bad. I mean, they've been very kind to me. Very nice, very pleasant to talk to. Yeah. We'll take some of these headache tablets here because this heat gives me headaches. At least it gives me headaches. So I don't see one online. Must be busy, busy, busy for them. Yeah, I have a couple friends, but I don't really have no one to really buddy around with or anything like that. I kind of wish I had that though. Like maybe somebody to go street preaching with. My friend from Indiana was talking about coming down to visit me, and we could pick a corner and street preach. You know, he does street preaching too. But I haven't heard from him. Yeah, I believe if you're really born again, here's what I believe. You should be out there sharing the gospel with people. It shouldn't be just one guy doing it or just... The problem with a lot of Christian people, profess Christianity, they don't want to really go out there and preach the gospel to nobody. You know, they want churchianity, not, you know, churchianity, religion, dead religion. I call it just dead religion. Dead faith, well, it works is dead, the Bible says. You know, I think if you're born again, you should be out there sharing the gospel with people. I think so. That's what the Bible tells us. To get the gospel out to people, you know. That's one thing that kind of discourages me. Seeing this, I've been seeing it for years. I didn't just think about this today. I think if you're a Christian, you should be out there taking the gospel. It shouldn't be just one guy doing it, or because I don't live in this town. I mean, you know, I'm here now, but I come here like gospel mission trips. At least that's what I did in the past, to share the gospel with the Catholics. But I really believe if you're really born again, you should be out there sharing the gospel too, you know. That should be taught from the pulpits. Pastors should lead by example. They really should. They should take their congregants out and teach them how to go out and hand out some tracts, talk to people, preach. Preaching is, the Bible says, it pleases God through the foolishness of preaching to save them that believe. And that's what the Apostle Paul did when he went to these different cities. Him and his associates, they would go and preach in the synagogue. But they would also preach on the streets too, in the public places like the marketplaces and on the streets of the cities they would go to. In fact, they turned the world upside down by their preaching. And I just don't see that here, you know. I don't see many people doing that. You can't say that we're turning the world upside down because Christians are not, you know. In fact, the world seems to be turning the wrong way, you know. That's why you got all this homosexuality stuff here, because the light's not being shined, the light of the gospel, the light of God's word. That's why you get stuff like the LBGT making footholds into places, because the Christians aren't really doing much to push back, you know. No preaching, no gospel. Just going to church, religion. I call it religion. So I say, this is for anybody. I'm not picking on nobody here. I don't want people, they might get offended. I usually offend people, not because I want to offend them, but I'm just kind of outspoken. I'm like my mother. Yeah, my mother was always, she just come right out and say it. So I do offend people, but really, that's what I believe Christians should be doing. Born again believers should be out there taking the gospel to the lost sinner. It's a hard job. It's not easy. It might be inconvenient. You might have to skip a meal. You might have to put up with some hostile people, which you will. If you're really preaching the gospel, people's going to come against you. It's just going to happen. It's just something you can't avoid. You can't avoid that. Nobody likes to be ill-treated by anybody or persecuted, but it's going to happen. People's going to curse you out. They're going to accuse you, and like this morning, like some two guys come out in a pickup truck and start hassling me about preaching outside the Catholic Church. But they were lost sinners. They were dead in their sin. And I told them that too. You're dead in your sin. You're cursing and swearing, and it's just you're not born again. I mean, it's just the Catholics aren't born again. The sacraments cannot save them. Baptism cannot save them. Having a little water poured on the forehead of a baby by a priest will not bring him any salvation at all. Not at all. So, the remedy is preaching, being a witness, being a light, really making a real effort to reach people. You just got to do it. You can't be like, you just got to get out there and just preach and get some good gospel tracts, none with that sinner's prayer stuff or ask Jesus in your heart. That stuff, that won't save nobody. Praying a sinner's prayer won't save nobody. Repeating a prayer will not save anybody. But believing the gospel. Hi! I like your bike.
Thank you.
I rode bikes like that too, believe it or not. Now I'm riding mountain bikes.
Nice.
Yeah, got to start somewhere, So what else do I want to say here? I'm just rambling on here. I'm probably going to make somebody mad, not purposely. See, I don't purposely want to make people mad at you. But I think I'm just kind of thoughts spill out of my mind, and it's not. So somebody's going to be offended by what I say. Oh, what are you trying to say? I'm not saying get the gospel out. That's what I'm saying. You want to know what I'm saying? Get out and get the gospel out. Just get out, and just get out that comfort zone. And because one day I won't be here. Maybe I won't be here in Celina. And this city still needs the gospel. Got all these churches out here, but what do they really do? Nothing. I went to that one church up here. They're having these, I guess it's the world's largest yard sale from Tennessee all the way to Michigan, I guess it is. And I went up to this church up here. They didn't even have Bibles there. It's like, no Bibles? I said, oh, why don't you come to church here? I said, you don't even have Bibles here? You want me to come to church here? I said, you're kidding me, right? No Bibles. Not women pastors too. That's not biblical. Women pastors are not biblical. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think it's it's not a place I would want to go to. Sounds like on the road to apostasy or something like that. So mainly here in Celina, you got still got many mainline Protestant churches here. You got, like, I call them offshoots of the mainline Protestant churches. You got you got the United Methodist as the mainline Protestant, then ELC Lutheran, but then you got I call them like the second tier Protestant churches, like the Church of the Nazarene and other denominations like that. I guess they broke off. They're part of the Holiness Movement. They was 1904, I think it is. So they broke off from kind of Wesleyan, Methodist, influence there, Pentecostal influence, the Holiness Movement, which broke off from the Methodist, I think, the Wesleyans. So you don't have a lot of mainline Protestants here in Celina. Like Fort Wayne, you're full of Lutherans there. You got the what's that called? Oh gee. Oh yeah, the Missouri Synod. That's what it is. See, it's been a while since I mentioned them. You got the Confessional Missouri Synod Lutherans there. You got Big St. Paul's downtown. It's huge. It's probably bigger than this Catholic church. Taller, yeah. And then you got Redeemer, you got Zion, you got quite a few there. And you got the big Concordia theological seminary there, the Lutheran seminary for the Missouri Synod there too, right in the city. Maybe I fit better there as far as preaching. Of course, I'm back in the same boat I am when I get there that I'm here. I find myself. But maybe, though, maybe it might be all right. So I'm going to give it a couple weeks here. A couple more weeks, see what happens. 2 weeks, something could really break for me. Yeah. But if not, I don't want to be here just drifting around anymore. That's just not what I want. I'm not wanting to drift. Yeah, even I get discouraged sometimes, though. You know, but definitely not going back to Akron. Definitely not going back to Massillon. There's just no desire to go there. So, you know, that's not much there for me. Massillon, I spent 2 years there. I would say I really got the gospel out there, though. I was always outside the Catholic churches, outside the Episcopal Church, outside the ELCA Lutheran Church. I was outside the Missouri Synod Church there, St. John's. I was out the Methodist, United Methodist there, and the United Church of the Antichrist, the UCC Church. So I was, and the Presbyterian Church, the United Presbyterian, which is no longer here. That church I went to today, that New Life Church, I think it's called, it's an old building where the United Presbyterian Church was with the woman pastor. That's died out, the congregation there, not surprisingly. Gee, I gotta get in this library here. Yeah, get in there before. Just get in some cool air before because it's gonna be warm tonight. Last night we had the full moon. I watched it, the big yellow moon rising over the horizon. It was beautiful. So I'm gonna take it a couple more weeks maybe, see what happens. I like to see my old Sunday school teacher here. I miss him. I have a lot of respect for him. Terry Brandon, his name is. He was a man of God. That guy was. He was a great Sunday school teacher. I got a lot of respect for him. I was glad to see him too Sunday. I actually stopped and talked to him. He was happy to see me too. It's like, told him come down. I'm always at the library if you want to come down and see me. I didn't ask him for his address. None of my business. I don't want to ask him for anything. You know, I don't want to look intrusive but I really did like him. Anyone here? Nope. Ruben Molden, are you here, buddy? Nope. Yeah, my friend had trouble with his car. I guess his piston went out and his rings and his piston, so his car is under the weather, I guess. So I was looking for him today. Well, I guess that's it here. I gotta get in this library here before they close here. I like to get in here just. I don't know, maybe I should go take a bath after this, go to the park. Just take a nice bath. Or I could wait till tomorrow morning too, perhaps. I'm gonna get up my usual early, but then hit the park. Yeah, maybe. But you never know, I might meet somebody here though. I mean, God his people here. You know, like make a friend, someone to buddy around with. That'd be kind of nice. Someone to go preach with. That would be, for me, that would be very encouraging. A fellow preacher. You know, I really wanted that. You know, I'm really here to preach. I want to get the gospel out so much. That was in my heart to do. Part of the reason I came out here. You know, like this trip here, Fort Wayne mainly, I was thinking at first, and they had all those riots, and then it's like, I don't know, should I go out there? So that's kind of what brought me to Celina. All right, that's it. God bless. Thank you for watching here. Yes. Okay, thank you for watching, huh?